Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the Scott Sports 101 Thursday Night Football Week 17 Browns Jets postgame show. Well, uh, Joe Flacco has turned a seemingly cursed season into a charmed one. Cleveland's quarterback for just over a month, Flacco passed for 309 yards and three touchdowns as the Browns clinched an unlikely playoff berth, just their second since 2002, their second time. Despite numerous injuries this season, with a 37-20 win over the New York Jets on Thursday night, the Browns now are 11-5 on the season, are assured of a wild card spot, and still have a chance to win the AFC North and maybe the conference's number one overall seed. Something that seemed un unfathomable, un unfathom, unfathomable just weeks ago as major injuries piled up. But things have changed since Flacco arrived. The 38-year-old quarterback uh, improved to 4-1 as a starter with the Browns, who plucked the Super Bowl MVP off his couch in New Jersey last month to hopefully rescue their season. He has done that and more. In the final minutes, Browns fans chanted Flacco, uh, Flacco, Flacco to a quarterback they once uh, reviled with Baltimore, and now revere. Uh, you don't know how many of these moments you're going to get, Flacco said. I am going to remember this for the rest of my life. Flacco threw two TD passes to Jerome Ford in the first half as the Browns built a 20-point lead over the Jets, who fall to 6-10, who chose not to re-sign the 15-year veteran after he spent 3 seasons with them after Aaron Rodgers tore his left Achilles tendon in Week 1 and went out with a season-ending injury. Flacco torched New York 296 yards in the first half and became the first QB in 34 games to over 300 yards against the Jets. He's also the first Cleveland quarterback to pass for more than 300 yards in 4 straight games. While Flacco insisted revenge wasn't on his mind, but Jets receiver Garrett Wilson said the QB was out to prove something. He's wound like that, Wilson said. He told me at the end of last season he wasn't going to be a backup. He was going to play, and that to he held that. Joe's a great guy. Joe's a great guy. The type of teammate you want. He deserves everything. The atmosphere was electric from the start inside Cleveland Browns Stadium as fans who have felt mostly heartbreak for decades got a chance to celebrate. It was special, Flacco said. This is obviously a unique situation for me, so I've got a lot of different emotions running through my head. The Jets were forced to start Trevor uh, Siemian for the second week in a row with Zach Wilson sidelined by a concussion. Uh, uh, Siemian had some nice moments, but an overthrow late in the first quarter was returned 30 yards for a TD by safety Ronnie Hickman to put the Browns up 20-7. New York allowed a season high in points and yards, 428. Although the Jets gave up 61 yards in the second half, they dug themselves too big a hole. The Jets linebacker Jermaine Johnson had a pick six in the second quarter when he beautifully deflected Flacco's pass to himself and returned it 37 yards. Uh, Nothing has been easy this season for the Browns, who have continued to win despite being overrun by injuries since the opener. Flacco is their fourth starting quarterback. They're missing both first team offensive tackles and 12 players, including quarterback Deshaun Watson and running back Nick Chubb, are on injured reserve. So it was fitting They went into their biggest game of the season, missing their starting kicker, punter, and wide receiver, Amari Cooper, who was coming off a franchise record, setting 265 yards, setting 265-yard performance on Sunday in Houston. And now the Browns got their first look at kicker Riley Patterson and punter Matt Hack, both signed earlier this week. Patterson filling in for the injured Dustin Hopkins went 4 for 5 on extra points and made a 33-yard field goal with 2:54 left. Hack averaged 51 yards on 3 punts. And Garrett, Browns defensive end Myles Garrett ended a 5-game streak without a sack by taking down Simayan in the first half. Garrett played with a heavy heart, disclosing after the game that his uncle, Chris Johnson, died on Christmas Day. So our condolences go out to Myles Garrett and the Garrett family. Still hard to believe I was speechless then. I really just don't know how to put into words now. I've had headaches just daily just because I don't know how to handle it emotionally. So it just comes out in different ways, like just pains. I felt like someone in a fog. Wilson went over 1,000 yards receiving for the second straight season. He also did it as a rookie in 2022 and is one of 10 active players with 2 1,000-yard seasons to start their career. Browns wide receiver Elijah Moore suffered a head injury in the second quarter after catching a 22-yard pass from Flacco. Moore's helmet was driven into the turf as he went down. He rolled onto his back and appeared to twitch as teammates quickly called for medical personnel. Moore, who spent the past 2 seasons with the Jets, was helped off the field and escorted to Cleveland's locker room. And I think he might have, no, he did not return. The Jets, there were some injuries. Jets wide receiver Alan Lazard was out with an illness among the team's inactives. Right guard Jacob Hansen suffered a concussion and was replaced by Xavier Newman, who was helped off the fourth quarter with an unspecified injury. Browns Cooper came in listed as questionable, but was expected to play. However, he had tested a heel injury during an on-field workout. Browns opted to have him sit, then risk more damage. Cornerback Mike Ford Jr. had a calf injury, got hurt covering a kick in the first quarter, and he did not return. Jets are at New England next Sunday, and the Browns are at Cincy next Sunday to wrap up the regular season. But Joe Flacco was a hero, and the defense really picked it up last night. And I'm going to give you the Browns game balls right now. I'm sorry about this technical problem here. Now we're going to go. Joe Flacco, 19 of 29 carries and attempts, 209 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Jerome Ford, 12 attempts, 64 yards, didn't have a touchdown. And David Njoku, 6 receptions, 134 yards. I'm going to give Kareem Hunt 1 for his touchdown. And I'm going to give Elijah Moore 1 for his, he did it. I'm going to give him 1 for scoring that 1 touchdown that he scored. So those are the game balls, but the Browns have secured the top seed, the number 5 seed, the top seed in the wild card spot. Still have a chance to win the AFC North and the number 1 seed when it does seem less likely. But right now, fans are celebrating. So go Browns. And we've got more football coming up this weekend. Tomorrow, the Detroit Lions are in Big D to take on the Cowboys at AT&T Stadium. And then Sunday, we got a lot of NFL action. Miami's in Baltimore. These are the early games. Miami and Baltimore. They're in Baltimore to take on the Ravens. The Patriots are in Buffalo to take on the Bills. Atlanta's in Chicago to take on the Bears. The Titans are in Houston to take on the Texans. The Raiders are in Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Stadium to take on the Colts. Carolina is in Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars at Everbank Stadium. The Rams are at MetLife Stadium in New York and East Rutherford, New Jersey to take on the Giants. Arizona's in Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. And New England's at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay to take on Baker Mayfield and the Bucks. San Francisco is at FedEx Stadium in Washington to take on the Commanders. Those are the early games. And the late games, the late afternoon ones, Pittsburgh's at Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Cincinnati's at Arrowhead Stadium to take on the Chiefs. And rounding out the late afternoon games, the Chargers are at Denver and Mile High at Denver to take on the Broncos. That's where the Chargers are. And Sunday Night Football, the Green Bay Packers are at Minnesota to take on the Vikings. So that's this week's football. And right now, as I said, the Browns fans are celebrating. So, boy, what a night. The Browns are indeed in the playoffs. That's just about going to wrap it up for the Scott Sports 101 Thursday Night Football Week 17 Browns Jets postgame show. I'll be back with the Saturday primetime NFL pregame show for the Saturday night game between Detroit and Dallas. If not, then you'll get a recap of it on Sunday. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.